Good morning, everybody. How are you? Friday, July 16th. Friday, July 16th, 2021. I don't know if I'm dyslexic or a lot of times I try to type, let's say 07-16-21, and I type, instead of 21, I type 12. Happens a lot. Let's do some odd news. This is UPI.com. Animal control officers had to peel apart an owl and a turtle who were stuck together. What? So now here's my thought. My original thought was, first thought was, the owl was trying to eat the turtle. Do they eat turtles? So let's find out. Somebody called and said, "Hey man, there's an owl over here. He can't fly." And then the animal control officer found him. He had one claw on the turtle's top and bottom shell. Well, it says the claw was clamped between the turtle's top and bottom shell. Okay. So they brought him into the shelter, and then they dislodged the claw. I'm still trying to picture that. Let me go back. The claw was clamped between the turtle's top and bottom shell. Once they separated them, the owl had a little bit of injury and the turtle was not harmed. Okay. Still not quite sure how that claw was situated there, but I'm glad that everybody's free from entanglements. All right, here you go. Macaroni and cheese flavored ice cream debuts. Well, the way they do, let's call it flavor science. I mean, flavor science, and this is just a term I made up. Their ability to flavor almost everything now, right? Once they isolate the chemistry, they could put it in candles and, flavor and scent science. All right, in Brooklyn, an ice cream company called Van Leeuwen ice cream. This wasn't flavor science. This was actual old school mixing the macaroni and cheese right into their ice cream. This wasn't made at a lab at Procter & Gamble Foods. This was made in the kitchen at Van Leeuwen. All right, so this is what I don't get. The way this story reads, unless Van Leeuwen is owned by Kraft, or maybe I'm just not reading it right, but it says that Van Leeuwen, who is in Brooklyn, combined Kraft macaroni and cheese into their ice cream to create the Kraft macaroni and cheese flavored ice cream. And to me, I'm picturing, either an ice cream company or an ice cream, shop. But that information is according to a statement released by Kraft Heinz. So then it goes on to say that one of the spokespersons of Kraft said that is why we wanted to combine two of the most iconic comfort foods. Okay, then this same person quotes, as big fans of Van Leeuwen, we knew they'd be the perfect partner to create the ice cream with us. Okay, I got it now. See, this is what you do. You go half-cocked without all the information. So I guess that raises the question, would you eat Kraft mac and cheese flavored ice cream? They've had an overwhelming response. What's the company's Salt and Straw? I think it's Salt and Straw. I might be making that up, but they make, this is in LA. They either make or offer this, they sell it. It's an ice cream company, ice cream chain in LA. And either it's their original concoctions or they're reselling them from other vendors. A multitude of different flavored ice creams, including, for example, turkey dinner. So would you eat turkey dinner flavored ice cream? I have to say, this particular, and I could be wrong about that name, Salt and Straw, but it's kind of a cool name, right? They are very popular. They're very expensive and very popular. What more do you want? You sell an expensive product that people like, and they buy a lot of it. All right. Now, that was before the pandemic. I don't know what they're doing now. I'll have to check in. I'll be back in LA in a few weeks. Again, UPI.com. McCormick will pay taco lover $100,000 for 4 months' work. Spice company McCormick's gonna lay out $100,000 to a taco lover to help develop taco flavors and stuff. So McCormick had a job description that they put out, said it's the main question was, do you eat tacos like it's your true calling? Now it can be. Said they're on the lookout for the first ever director of taco relations. The director of taco relations will taste test tacos, give their advice on tacos, travel to determine the latest trends in the country on tacos, monitor social media about tacos, and you get $25,000 per month, working 20 hours a week, roughly remotely from September to December. Wait a minute. $25,000 a month for 4 months, 80 hours. So basically $12,500 for 80 hours of work. Or no, sorry. $25,000 for 80 hours of work. Woo! Pretty good. Pretty good. But you know it's going to be a lot more hours than that. Come on. Come on. Traveling, social media monitoring. I'm not saying it's a great deal. It is. I'm just saying it's not going to be 20 hours a week. And let's be honest, free tacos. Yee-hoo! Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Well, that's a great, I love it. It's fantastic. What was the date of this story? July 15th is the date on this story. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I think that's going to be, post that to Facebook when I get back. There's going to be somebody in my friends downline that be interested in that. This condo, or these apartments or condos, whatever, is starting to take shape over here. I read some article that explained why all the new condos / apartments all look the same like this. Retail and or parking base, and then 3 or 4 stories, and about that size. Let's look it up. Why all new apartment buildings look the same? Why all new apartment buildings look identical, it says. This is cheddar.com. If you've ever wondered why most new apartment buildings look like carbon copies of every one of carbon copies, there is a method to the madness. Cheddar.com. In the 80s, many cities in the United States didn't have very much room for building multi-person dwellings. For example, in Seattle, most of the land was zoned for single-family homes. And by the way, I don't know if this is accurate, but somebody was explaining on a video I watched a couple days ago that the reason for that is, well, let's don't go down that road. Let's don't go down that road. Let's keep it simple, because that's a whole different sticky wicket. We'll talk about that on another video. It's going to take a while to go through that one. Yeah, there wasn't that much space to develop multifamily dwellings. And in fact, it wasn't until the mid-'80s that you could build high-rises in Seattle. What? Say what? Wait a minute, Seattle doesn't have any... Wait, Seattle has high-rises. They didn't have any high-rises before the 80s? That seems suspect. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Come on. Wait, they had the tower? No, because they had the Space Needle. Well, that's not a high-rise tower, but they had the Space Needle when I was there in the 70s, right? Or did they? We'll check that out. All right. But then, all of these American cities had a big demand for affordable housing. Oh, well, no kidding. But zoning and building restrictions were an obstacle, of course. In places like LA, they had more room, but they also had more codes to adhere to. So then, in the late 90s, a LA architect had a 100 unit project that he was trying to build. But the cost of the materials was more aligned with high rises. The classification of the materials that could be used. So he got a change in the code so that they could use wood to build buildings up to 5 stories. They could make it a wood-based construction. Before that, wood framed constructions were limited to 2 stories. So then the same guy, might as well give his name because this is pretty innovative. Tim Smith, he said, all right, let's create a concrete base, what they call the pedestal. Isn't that what they call it? In building parlance. A concrete base to make it even taller. He started this in Hawaii, and it's known as either a 1+5 or a 5/1. 5/1 has more poetic feel, right? What are you boys thinking about building a 5/1? Meaning five wooden levels over a 1 concrete podium. What did I say? Pedestal? A podium. Well, maybe a pedestal. No. So that's why they all look that way. Just like that one. Everywhere you go in Columbus, they look like that one we just passed. And same in LA. And probably same in, like they said, Seattle and 8,000 other communities. There's a development near here that will remain nameless, Grandview Yards, that it just has a lot of great features, but most of them look like 5/1s, or in that case, I think it's more like 4/1s. But they all look the same for block after block. I'm like, can't they tweak these in some fashion to give them some variety? There's some cool townhouses over there, but the straight apartments are like, oh yeah. But I'm sure they would say, Joe, you come up with the money for it and we'll do it. So we got the general idea. All right. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going here. You know, it's a really interesting video series if you get a chance. It's called The Big Question. Well, I watch it on YouTube. It's on BBC. I don't even know. Do we get BBC TV in the United States? But I don't watch a lot of TV. Like I don't watch a lot of straight TV. I just don't turn on the TV that much. And I should. And the reason I got TV was to be able to write comedy about TV. There's so much comedy available on TV. I mean, comedy sources, dumb shows and old shows, and there's just a ton of material. I just haven't had a chance to get to it. They've got good food right here. Alcaria. Express. All right, let's keep going here. This is a pretty good one. Something I would do. A woman accidentally buys identical lottery tickets. Splits jackpot with herself. I was looking at my bank statement the other day. And most professional software or good software, like the Microsoft Office Suite, is now on a subscription basis, which was a brilliant move by the software companies because they are making tons more money than before. Very smart. But the technology is also available to do that rather seamlessly. A lot of people are on high-speed internet, and yeah. So I signed up for, there's one professional software suite that is not Microsoft, but pretty well known, and offer a variety of softwares. You can buy them as singular software for different uses, different needs, use cases, or you can buy the bundle. So I bought one in May of last year. I bought one product that I use quite a bit, and then decided, all right, I like it. It's confusing as hell. This is confusing as hell. Let's get the full suite. That's exactly what. So then you can sign up for the full suite, which includes the original single use case software. So I did that. Like 2 weeks later, I bought the full suite, and they wrap it all together. So now, a year later, more than a year later, I'm like, wait a minute. They've been billing me for the original software. It's like $20 a month, and the full suite, which is just over $50 a month. So I give them a call. I go, hey man, love the product. Use them all the time, which they can verify by seeing that I use them all the time. But that doesn't matter. But anyway, so I thought that was actually, is that just a crumpled piece of rubber, or is that metal? Like a metal fire pit? Or is it a crumpled piece of rubber fire pit? Just Festus, just bundle up that old rubber tire and burn it in the front yard. We're gonna make some roasted chicken out there. Yeah, so they've every month I've been paying for both the $20 and the $50. So I give them a call. Hey man, love the software. Can you credit all of these $20 charges back to me because I didn't, maybe I pushed the wrong button, or maybe it was you. I really don't know, but it doesn't make sense that you would have billed me all this time. And of course, she says, okay, hold on, please. She goes away. This is on the phone, of course. This wasn't a chat bot or whatever. It's on the phone. Now, I've been down this road 1,000 times. I know they're not going to do it. And I'll have to ask politely. I don't scream and yell. I just persist. Right? I just persist in a nice way. That's just how I do it. Some people scream and yell. I've heard, people get lots of results from screaming and yelling. I just don't do it that way. But, so I'm not stressed. I'm not worried. I know I'm going to have to make a bunch of calls. And, it just doesn't seem fair. And plus, it might be their fault. But I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying, look, it doesn't make any sense. Fairness and logic indicates that I've been paying your outrageous prices every time. I mean, on time, every time. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Every month. For no reason. So please reimburse me for, let's see, maybe like 14 months of $20, something like that. Plus tax, bro. No, whatever it is. So she goes away, comes back. Like I said, I'm ready for some drawn out campaign of different departments being transferred to different people and getting the runaround. And I found, you might do it differently. I found that it doesn't help to scream and yell. Now, there's probably other better ways of accelerating it, like threatening to go to different departments, in a nice way. Nice threats. Say, look, it's unfortunate you don't see it my way. I'm going to hang up with you and call the Better Business Bureau, whatever it is. But I've found, for the most part, the people that you talk to on the phone, it's not their fault. And if you're just reasonable with them and show the reasonableness of the request, eventually you'll win out. And this is proven out for me time and time and time again. You just have to have the time and the patience. So I know it could be a long process, maybe through the summer, talking to different people. She comes back on the phone. Sorry for this inconvenience. We're going to refund the entire 14 months and take it off, if we credit it back to you, and then there you go. We're going to refund the entire thing. So they could have said, well, the first $20, really you should pay that, which I would have said probably okay, because that's when you didn't buy. You hadn't purchased the full suite, whatever. I'm waiting for some kind of, dodge, some kind of way to cheat me. But they said right away. No more questions. There was no more questions to me. She just got back on the phone. And she said, we're going to refund the entire, months that you paid the $20. When you were obviously also paying the $50. Go. And I've learned that you don't say anything. You just say thank you and you hang up. Don't. So right away I get an email that the $20 subscription was discontinued. And that's been about 5 days now, I think. So they stopped that subscription. But then there has been no more interactions, no more emails, no more nothing. And I've yet to see any kind of reimbursement. Now, one key to my slow and methodical, or slow and patient method, is to record everything. I recorded your service representative saying exactly that. I've even played it back to make sure I had it. Anytime I get into these, well, first of all, one, to have their version, to be able to verify what they said, but also, I don't remember, you talk to 15 people and they transfer you around. I could mention a major brand that you would immediately recognize. They gave me the transfer method. That's basically where they go, oh, you need to talk to this other department. Okay, the new department. Hi, this is Joe Blow at the new department. What can I do for you? Yeah, I'm just explaining to Ted over there in customer relations that blah, blah, blah. Oh, you need it. And they just bounce you around. That's how they get you off their desk. And again, if you have better ways of dealing with this, let me know. This is a separate brand I'm talking about now. Just as an example. And they bounced me around. And then somebody would say, okay, we're going to do X, Y, Z, and they wouldn't do it. But so I couldn't keep track of all of those people and all this shenanigans unless I recorded it. And I could teach you how to do that, but there's different ways. I don't know about iPhone, but Android doesn't let you record straight off of a phone anymore. Audio off of telephone calls anymore. But there's lots of ways to get around that. So, yeah, no refund yet. But at this point, trust me, it will be forthcoming. And I'm not opposed to putting them on blast on social media. I'm not opposed to that. Especially when you said we would do it, and they should do it. It doesn't make any sense that you would double bill me all that time. These mini back wheels at the back. Is that so when it tilts like that? Like why? What are those mini back wheels? Oh, when it dumps, they dump it out the back. Is that so that it can tilt up? Is that the way? Is that why? I'll have to remember to update you guys on my refund. So I guess it raises a question: how do you deal with it when you have, a customer service complaint, problem? Let's don't say just complaint, like a real problem that you need fixed. They whatever it is, service. Do you immediately start yelling and screaming? I'm not saying that's ideal, but maybe that's the way how you do it. I just take very good notes. In sales, it helps to take really good notes, especially if you have ADD like me, so that I can refer back to notes. I would write down everything just so I could keep track of what was said, even if it was just said. And by the way, this is a good habit to get into too in business, especially if you're an entrepreneur or a solopreneur or solo service provider. Shoot an email to the person that summarizes what you talked about. If it has anything to do with, the scope of the work. Hey, Bob, good talking to you. Just to summarize or just to recap, you mentioned that you wanted these additional items done that I said were outside the scope of the original work, so we have to go to a additional fee for each item. So the first 3 were at $1,000, and the last one was at $5,000. So $8,000 in would cover those. And like I said, I can't do them at the original deadline of the end of the month because I'm booked up solid, but I can get it done by the end of next month. If you have any, if there was any, basically anything different and on your end as to those details, let me know. Just keep it casual, but at least you have a, for your own purposes, but also that can, serve as a document that you both have, especially because more than likely they're not taking those notes and they'll remember it differently than you. Well, that's not what I said. A month later, hey, they call you, where's the work? You said you're going to have it done by the end of the month. Well, like I mentioned in my email, there's no way that I could have, but that's what you said you could have. No, what I said was, like, if you pull up the email, if you pull up the email, I said it'd be the end of next month. Oh, okay. And then they hang up and it's nothing. Like there was nothing. There was no emergency. Let's put it this way. I can tell you this for sure. Many entrepreneurs that you might be working with as a service provider, they're not the most detail-oriented people. They might be successful. They might be good at what they do. They're not very detail-oriented. And that's going to kill you, especially if you have ADD like me or ADHD. So do yourself a favor. Shoot those emails. You can knock them out real quick. It doesn't have to be a legal document. Per my conversation with my attorneys, we've reviewed. No, none of that. Just say, hey, to summarize what we talked about, or whatever. Recap, summarize. Collect, and then put a pause. If you have any additional ideas, sometimes people ask me, well, how do you deal with customers that constantly want to change things on? So you don't. You get rid of those customers. This is the best advice I can give you'll ever give in terms of solopreneur or entrepreneurialism or just being a service provider. The best way of finding the best way of making your life smoother, your business life smoother and more profitable, is to constantly upgrade your customer base. And I don't mean in terms of dollars, but because if people are constantly saying, they wanted all these changes, they didn't want to pay for them, blah, 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 blah. Get rid of them. Yeah, but I need, no, you don't. There's plenty of good customers. There's plenty. You're just not doing the business development. You're not making the sales calls. You're not doing content marketing to get your name out there. You're not asking for referrals. You're not doing the work. Do the work up front. And then when customers give you difficulty, they're hard to work with, fired. Get rid of them. There you go. Now life is much better. There's plenty of good customers that pay on time, that are good to work with. Some are even fun to work with. There's plenty, but you got to be constantly marketing, constantly. And what happens is they get busy and they don't do it. And then all of a sudden they're stuck with this raft of complaining, lazy, lousy customers. And they have to stick with them. So maybe you do have to stick with them for now, but start marketing now so you can eventually get rid of that cruft. They're just bad. They're toxic for you. They're toxic for you. Get rid of them. Talk to you soon, guys.